Hey there everyone, and welcome to this episode of Full Disclosure with Tom. Today we're going to talk about something that's very interesting to me, and I think it's very interesting in the realm of UAP'S and NHI, and really the entirety of the discussion. We're going to call this, I don't know what to call this series, I guess. We're going to call it Angels and Demons, kind of like Angels and Demons series. We're going to talk about religion. We're going to talk about three specific things today. We'll probably do multiple episodes on this topic and ones in the future, especially if you guys respond well to this, when you guys like this this topic. Today we're going to talk about the Book of Enoch. We're going to talk about the Ark of the Covenant and Noah. And those are the three things we're going to kind of discuss. They all kind of coincide in a interesting way as well. And we're going to talk about how things from the past might have been misinterpreted because they didn't have the words to describe them. They didn't have the vocabulary, right? You didn't know what aliens and UFOs and spaceships and all those were. They had different words. Those different words might have been angels and demons and gods. And so we're going to talk about that. But I hope you guys enjoy this discussion today. Do me a favor, as always, make sure to smash that like button for me. Subscribe to the channel, man. Subscribe. You guys have been awesome, man. I appreciate all the response from you guys so far on the channel. And thank you. Keep it coming, man. Leave comments. We try to respond to everybody. So if you guys have any questions or comments or anything like that, make sure to. And don't forget to have those notifications on so you don't miss out on video shorts, live streams, and posts. We'll do all those eventually here on the channel. So don't forget about that. All right, let's get talking about this. And real quick, before we get into the main discussion about all of this, I want to be real upfront and clear something real fast. I am not a religious person. I have studied different religions over the years and have a general base of knowledge of several. But I am not I'm not a Christian. I'm not, I don't belong to any religion. Okay. I don't claim, to belong to any, I believe there's something. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just something that's a higher power than us, whether that's higher intelligence or whatever. But I don't really know what I believe in. Throughout this discussion, though, and the three topics we'll talk about today, any future episodes that we do of this as well, I just want to say it's never the goal to offend anyone in this discussion about one's religion or your religious beliefs. If you have your religious beliefs, it is not my goal to try to sway you or make you change your belief system. That is not what we're trying to do here. We're just trying to have an open mind to a discussion about something that I believe may have occurred. Right? I believe may have happened over the years. So, but I don't mean any offense to anybody. Your beliefs are your beliefs. You are welcome and entitled to those. We will never offend those. Anybody in the comments, let's keep that, let's be respectful to everybody in there as well. If I get something wrong ever, and this is gonna, if I say something, maybe I just said it the wrong way or whatever, but if I get information wrong, feel free to correct me in the comments. Guys, I'm not above admitting I'm wrong. I'm human just like you guys, so I'm going to get some of this right, or some of this wrong and some of it right? But we're in this to learn together. So that's why we're in this discussion and talk about the whole thing. All right, let's start with the three things we decided to talk about today, right? And I know that some of the pictures in the background are kind of crazy, right? We do these AI images while we do these podcasts and kind of discussions, and just kind of let it roll with what the topic is. And this is Angels and Demons, so with aliens back there. Let's talk about the Book of Enoch. The Book of Enoch is something really interesting to talk about. We're going to talk about that, the Ark of the Covenant, and Noah today. But the Book of Enoch, I don't know if a lot of people even know what the Book of Enoch is or about the Book of Enoch, but it is a portion of the Bible. It's a portion of the Bible. I'm going to read you the description here off of Wikipedia, but it is a portion of the Bible that has been kept hidden by the church, I believe. I'm not sure exactly who's kept it hidden or who made the decision to keep. Maybe it'll say in here. But it is a lot of religious texts that refer to things coming from out of this world, or what in essence what we would look at in for lack of a better word is UFOs or aliens. Okay, extraterrestrials. So here's the description right here off of Wikipedia. What it is: the Book of Enoch, if you don't know, is an ancient Jewish apocalyptic religious text ascribed by tradition to the patriarch Enoch, who was the father of Methuselah, and the great-grandfather of Noah. He was the great-grandfather of Noah. So there's a relation there. I told you, like, it's an interesting thing how we're going to get into this whole kind of thing here. The Book of Enoch contains unique material on the origins of demons and Nephilim. Now we'll see what those. I'm sure what Nephilim is. It's got to be something similar to demons, I'm assuming. So let's just kind of roll with that. Why some angels fell from heaven, an explanation of why the Genesis flood was morally necessary, and a prophetic exposition of the 1,000-year reign of the Messiah. 3 books are traditionally attributed to Enoch, including the distinct works. Let's see, 2 Enoch and 3 Enoch. I'm confused by that. All right, none of the 3 are considered to be canonical scripture by most Jewish or Christian church bodies. And now, why do they not find them canon? Right, canonical. That's what it says. So, why do they not find them as canon to the Bible? They don't like what it says. I mean, you're welcome to go out there and you can read it. You can find the Book of Enoch in the chapters and to be able to read through it yourself online, or you can even find like let's say a Cliff's Notes version, or what is it, like the Idiot's Guide to. Those are the versions I would read. So I'm not calling you guys idiots, but it would be my version. The way that it's written in the Bible and that text is written is very confusing for me, for my brain to process the way it's. I don't know if it's dyslexia or what. I don't know. It's just weird. And so I need those, kind of like the Idiot's Guide to, or the Dummy's Guide to, or whatever. And so you can find those and you can read through it, and it's nothing like the rest of the Bible. So older sections of 1 Enoch, we're just gonna call them 1, 2, and 3, I guess. Older section of 1 are estimated to date from about 300 to 200 BC. Let's see, the latest is probably from around 100 BC. Scholars believe Enoch was originally written in Aramaic or Hebrew. Scroll down a little further. Authors of the New Testament are also familiar with some concept. The short section of 1 Enoch is cited in the New Testament. So there's like little snippets. That'd be the best way is, right? There's little snippets that they've taken out of there. Let's go look over here. I'm going to keep scrolling down because we're going to see if it references the reasons why. And I'm betting on Wikipedia that it's not actually even going to reference reasons that it's kept out of it. I've seen a lot of episodes on Ancient Aliens that reference the Book of Enoch. If you guys are familiar with that show, if you're not familiar with the show Ancient Aliens on History Channel, that's what a lot of this series is going to cover. We're going to talk about things that I see in there and that I've found very interesting from that, because we believe that a lot of the stories, the tales, are from that time. All right, so we're going to kind of transition out of I want to explain to you what the Book of Enoch is. Because it tells a lot of the story of Noah in it. Like we said, it's Noah's grandfather was Enoch, or great-grandfather or grandfather. I think it said great-grandfather at the top. I'm sorry. And so the story of the Great Flood is one of those things over the years that is, it's one of the passages in religious text, right? Not just the Bible, but other several religions all over the world, and if not several, most major religions reference a great flood. There is some sort of a reference to a great flood, a cataclysm on the planet of some sort. All right, and so the things that I like and personally believe in and pull from religious texts that I find to be more true than not are things that you can look across the different religious texts and different religions and find correlation between, right? So if there was a flood that took place, let's say the story of David and Goliath, if there was a similar story that took place across all, then that's maybe possibly true, right? I'm not saying that one, we're just as an example, that's all. But the flood is one that was taken across multiple religions. Now, let's look at the aspects of the flood, right? We know the ship. It was him and his family that built like the ARK, right? I said the ship, the ARK. Noah and his family, and we know the size of it. How big was Noah's Ark supposed to be? Let's go look and see how big Noah's Ark was supposed to be. How big was Noah's Ark? Noah's Ark was supposed to be 300 cubits long, 50 cubits wide, and 30 cubits high. 510 feet long, which is about 1.5 football fields. So we're talking about 450 yards, which is 1,300 feet long. for one family to build. I don't know what the estimated time that it took them to build this was, but there was also the story, and the big story is that there's two by two, right? It's the two of every animal on the planet or every living being on the planet. Listen, I don't know how big they want to suppose that this ark was, but that's not possible, right? I mean, let's just use science. I'm reading a scientific fact here. It's not possible to have two of every animal, every living being on the planet placed into an ark. Now, do I think that it didn't happen? Not necessarily. I think this is one of those things that we've gotten wrong, right? I don't believe that God coming and informing Noah that he needed to build this was God coming and informing Noah that he needed to build this. I believe that NHI possibly, and more than likely maybe came down. They were seeing it as angels. They'd see lights, they'd see orbs in the sky, they'd see these flying things. What would you think now, 2,000 years ago, when you see something flying in the sky, you have no reference to aircrafts or anything other than birds. What would you possibly think this is, right? Birds can already do things that you dream of being able to do, like fly. That's godlike, right? We look at that now as like, if a person could fly, that would be like a superhero power, right? Well, they could, you look at birds, they can fly. You look at beings, you see orbs, you see possibly they could see figures of people. They could see different, if they were UFO'S, which appear from religious paintings and texts to look similar to what we're seeing nowadays, the same similar descriptions, which is wild. Then you can kind of draw the correlation to how those might have been described back then, right? And it might not have possibly been just as simple as there was going to be a great cataclysm, a great flood, so we needed to protect the life of the planet. It might have been genetic. They might have taken biologic samples, or, who knows what kind of time and space would be inside of the ark, but I don't believe that the ark was actually an ark. I think that the ark was actually a craft that had come down. I don't believe that it survived the flood like that. I just believe that it wasn't here, and then it came back to possibly drop off Noah and his family. There's rumor that even Enoch was not human. That's possibly where the story had come from, and that maybe even Noah wasn't. There was a relation there. It's a very deep story. Again, like I said, I don't want to attack anybody's religious beliefs. I know that the story of Noah's Ark in the book of Genesis and the flood is a big story, and it's an anchor kind of to the Bible. But I think it is something that happened. I think the Great Flood did happen. When you look over the years and look back in the past, there's a great author and historian and I want to say archaeologist. I know he's not a scientist. I want to say archaeologist and writer. And Graham Norton. Is it Graham? No, Graham Norton. Graham Norton's the host on the BBC. Sorry, Graham Hancock. I got the wrong name. Sorry about that. Graham Norton's funny too, but not in this realm. Graham Hancock is an author who has written a lot of books about archaeology not recognizing that our past comes from much sooner than it does, much before what we want to admit to ourselves, and it's sad that science and archaeology do this. I think that there is a hidden history of humanity, of intelligent life on this planet that doesn't get told because the group of the insiders that are keeping it from us. Go back. I can't say this word. Göbekli Tepe. Maybe I said it right. I don't know. The site in Turkey, it is one of the oldest civilizations and science that they found, where it looked like they were using modern tools or modern style tools, what we would consider, and had a general understanding of life and civilization, and this comes from possibly before the Great Flood. That's not in history books, right? In history books, we don't believe that happened. That before which is called the Younger Dryas, the Great Flood in historical terms, and as far as archaeologists would determine, it's called the Younger Dryas period. Happened about 13.5 thousand years ago, and they don't know if it was a flood caused by an asteroid or meteor or the poles shifting or whatnot, but that's the Great Flood. And the warning for it, the warning for the Great Flood itself, and the reason that Noah might have known to possibly gather up biological specimens or species or something like, who knows how that worked. But we can speculate on things that we do know, right? And that's all we're doing. We know that building a boat with a family of a handful of people that is 1,400 feet long in a small amount of time is not possible. Also not possible to hold 2 of every living being on the planet. And to be the only ones left as survivors at the end as well. There are also stories that the reason for the flood in general that they tell was that God had sent, they called them angels, what were angels, but they were giants on the planet, that they were actually from elsewhere, not from this planet. We referred to them as angels, but they were giants. They bred with humans. And that angered God or the leader, whoever was in charge of them, and that he caused the flood to end them and to start over again. It's very similar to the actual tale about angering God. When you anger God, God is very vengeful, and that's a story throughout the Bible of that. So it's very interesting to me. I think that Ancient Aliens covers it in several episodes. Like I said, if you haven't checked them out, there's a season available on Netflix. History Channel is available if you got it on demand or anything. I think it on their app as well. And I believe there's like almost 200 or over 200 episodes of Ancient Aliens out there. And you'll find a lot of these stories about that. And it's something you can deep dive and go down a complete rabbit hole with. And it's really interesting to me. Let's kind of shift gears a little bit here. We're going to go over and talk about something else in biblical and in this realm, in this world. We're going to talk about the Ark of the Covenant, right? Arks. I thought, what a good day to cover that. We're talking about Noah's Ark. We'll bounce to the Ark of the Covenant. Now, not a ship, obviously, the Ark of the Covenant. If anybody out there has seen Indiana Jones, Raiders of the Lost Ark, if you haven't seen it, watch it. What's wrong with you? What rock are you living under? What ark are you stuck under? But watch the movie. Check out the movie. Great movie. And the story of the Ark, obviously the Ark, and I'm gonna backtrack on this, and I'm gonna try to get the history right on this as I recall it. That God gave the Ark to Moses when Moses received the 10 Commandments. The Ark was supposed to contain the 10 Commandments. They would be housed inside. The tablets would be housed inside. There was a scepter or the staff of somebody also it was supposed to contain as well. It's something else. I don't. So magical properties surrounding this though were always the story and the rumor. There's rumor about it could heal, it could provide life, it could hurt as well. Death would come from it. The Ark has never, that we know of, 100% certain, been located, right? So we don't know if it actually exists. I tend to believe that the Ark itself is an actual thing that we do have somewhere, that somebody has. The church, the Catholic Church possibly may own it. We know that the Vatican has a vault that is, oh boy, full of God knows what. And literally he's probably the only one that would. And then there are countries and churches and nations over the years that have claimed to have it in their possession, but never providing proof of such, right? The design on it was 2 eagles up on the top, two angels on the top that were almost interconnecting with their wings outstretched like this, right, where the tips of the wings would be almost touching. It was constructed out of gold. The inside of the Ark was gold as well. Let me look it up here real quick. Ark of the Covenant. I typed in Ark of the Covenant. Hold on one second. I wanted to get the dimensions is what I was kind of trying to look. But the Ark of the Covenant, also known as the Ark of the Testimony or the Ark of God, is purportedly a religious storage and relic held to be the most sacred object of the Israelites. Let's see. I'm trying to see what if it shows. Delivered the Ten Commandments to Moses on Mount Sinai, according to the book of Exodus, the book of Numbers, which was the commandments, and the epistle to the Hebrews in the New Testament. It also contained Aaron's rod and a pot of manna. Now, manna is that was the one that I wanted to look up. Manna is something very interesting. I was watching actually an episode of Ancient Aliens the other day, and they talked about this. Manna is something very interesting. They referred to it as kind of like an everything, an all being, but it was food. They referred to it as food in the references in the Bible that it makes, and it's what apparently the Ark would produce this. Now I don't know how this would be possible. How a gold chest could produce something like this, but it would produce this from within itself. It's what helped to feed 2 to 3 million people through the desert for 40 years, which is wild. But yeah, I mean, it would produce some type of food. Now I don't know if there was a nuclear reaction type of something in this, which could be why they would see like bright lights come out of it when they would open it, why they were worried about looking at it, why they were worried about touching it. There's so many tales of the Ark, right? We know from Raiders of the Lost Ark, you don't want to open it, you don't want to look at it, don't look directly at whatever comes out of it, no matter what. It was almost like it was too much for humanity to handle. I have an interesting theory about what I think might have been inside of the Ark of the Covenant, and it sounds kind of crazy. It's going to sound wild, but there's part of me that believes that I think the Israelites had possibly there had been a downed craft, right? A downed craft of some sort. What they would have thought would have been an angel, a fallen angel. A downed craft would be a fallen angel. And I believe that there might have been a biologic being present, possibly in it. They might have thought it was a fallen angel. They might have thought it was God. I don't know. They might have felt it was the presence of God, or it was an orb or something like. Because there was this light that they had inside, apparently, of the Ark. I believe that they had possibly captured either a being or a orb or something from not here that was providing them with power, or providing them with energy, or providing them with something to be able to create food, to wreak havoc and destruction if need be, and provide them with anything they needed to survive is what it sounded like throughout that time. But if they had somebody that they had, if it was a being or something that they had possibly captured in there, stories of people being killed when it was opened or something. Maybe they were non-believers. Maybe they were not of the right. Maybe I don't know what they had possibly done to it. I mean, that could make sense as to what. It's just hard for me to believe that this Ark, with nothing inside except 2 stone tablets and an Aaron's rod, was killing people and healing people and feeding people and had all this magical power. I guess that's where I lack faith. And I know a lot of people have faith, and if you have faith in that, I have more power to you, in all honesty, because I wish I could hold that type of belief and I'm going to call it blind faith, because you can't see, you just have to believe, right? That's why I call it blind faith. I don't mean it in a disrespectful way. For me, I tend to look towards the sciences and more the science. How can science explain these things that have happened? I think the Bible is a great general case study for scientists to go through. And I'm sure somebody has completely done this in a book or something somewhere. If not, they need to. But to break down every story of the Bible all along the way and explain how it could have had a correlation to NHI, to UAP, to living beings from not our planet, not from here. But it's a very interesting topic. I think that I don't think we'll ever find the Ark. I don't think, even if we get full disclosure, right? I don't think we're going to suddenly find the Ark of the Covenant or the Ark or Noah's Ark. It's never been found either, right? All these thousands of years, neither of the two have ever been 100% confirmed to be found. Strange, right? It's very strange. the Ark was a spaceship and isn't here anymore, well, then that makes sense, right? And if the Ark of the Covenant was what it was, so powerful, maybe they came back and got it if they had captured somebody in it or something, or this divine power. I don't know. I'm very interested by the stories that involve fallen angels, gods, demons, fantastical sci-fi type explanations out of the Bible, right? Things that you would see in a sci-fi movie, and please don't take offense to that either. It's just, I mean, even from Jesus walking on water to healing people and all, you know, those are things that would be difficult. But we've all heard about beings that can walk on water, that traverse through water, air, and land. We know about healing properties with NHI, where they have healed people when they have taken them or been abducted, and experienced their stories. So a lot of these things, if you read between the lines and look past what I believe is the BS that they're trying to feed us over a lot of our history books by editing out history. You know, we're not trying to conspiracy theory this stuff. I don't want to start the conspiracy theory there. I don't think it's a conspiracy. I mean, I guess it is, but I don't think it's a theory. I believe it to be true. Anyway, you guys let me know what you think in the comments. What do you guys think about that? Have you ever thought about these three things in particular, right? The Book of Enoch, Ark of the Covenant, Noah's Ark. And is this something you guys spend time thinking about? You know, I watch every Monday and Friday. There's like a marathon on History Channel of Ancient Aliens, and it's on all day long. And I usually watch it for about 5 or 6 hours until I just can't take anymore. My mind's about to melt at that point, right? But it just, I love watching ones that cover stuff like this, because I have this theory in my head about we got it wrong, even though they drew us pictures, right? I tell my wife this all the time. I'm like, whether it's religious text or even back to hieroglyphs in Egypt or, you know, all over the world, there's different things like this. But I think they drew as pictures and we got it wrong. Who's to, like, you know, we have deciphered these pictures, these drawings, and we've given what we believe these things mean and say. But you guys realize that somebody just fucking made it up, right? Somebody made it up years ago along the way. There was a group of people or people that were just like, well, we've determined that this means this. And then that was the end all be all. Anybody else who said, no, I don't think that means that, that might mean this, their careers were damned as far as archaeology goes. So scientists have gotten stuff wrong before, right? We used to think the earth was flat. We didn't know what the fuck gravity was. You know, we didn't know what the Big Bang was. We thought we were the only planet in the solar system. Those are all true things that have happened throughout science and history, right? Maybe we got the pictures wrong, you know? I tell this funny story. I'll tell the funny story real quick before we wrap this one up. But I tell this to my wife, and it's kind of my joke about it. I just kind of hope that I have this bit about it that I imagine would happen one day. But when the aliens do, like, finally come down, like land on the White House lawn moment, you know, and meet with us all, and they're like, we'd like to explain to ourselves to you who we are, and they tell us, and they're like, who are you? And tell us about yourselves. And we explain to them about humanity and tell them about religion and God, and we have this, and I just kind of hope that Alien 1 looks at Alien 2 and goes, you know, radios in with his little walkie-talkie and goes, yeah, we got another code red. We've got another code red here. Meaning, they have been to other planets and civilizations and things around the cosmos, and maybe they were confused for gods before, and they drew the pictures wrong. And maybe we just didn't understand, and so it would be just kind of a funny moment of we've got a code. I look at my wife all the time and go, we got a code red. We got a code red. So I don't know. Who knows? Who knows? These are my interpretations of how this is, and I think it's fun and interesting to think about it. I hope you guys enjoy it. Join the discussion. Like I said, make sure to smash that like button. Subscribe down below to the channel, man. Subscribe. Always have notifications on so you don't miss out on videos, shorts, live streams, posts, any of that good stuff we've got here on the channel. We're going to tackle a really interesting one coming up. And it might be the next video, possibly. It might be one after that or a couple after that. But we're going to tackle what really happened to MH370, Malaysian Flight 370. There's some interesting theories out there. There's some NHI and UAP theories out there as well. We're going to tackle those, and I'm going to try to prove that that's what actually happened. That theory is the one that actually happened. So I'll try to do that over our next video. You guys, I hope you enjoyed this one. And until then, we'll see you. Thanks, guys. Peace.